levels or stages to evolution, only one of which is really scientific. And here's where all of the confusion comes in. First, you'd have to have cosmic evolution. That would be the Big Bang. The origin of time, space, and matter is a complete mystery to scientists, and to include this as part of a science education is simply lying to the kids, okay? We don't know how time, space, and matter came into being. If you have a theory about that, that's great, but don't teach it as if it's a fact, because the Big Bang is a far cry from a fact, okay? Secondly, we'd have to have chemical evolution. According to the Big Bang theory, hydrogen was produced. Well, how did we get all these other elements? There are 92 elements plus the synthetic ones. Thirdly, we'd have stellar or planetary evolution. No one's ever seen a star forming. We see stars blow up all the time. We never see one form. So that's not part of science to say stars evolved over millions of years. Nobody's ever observed that. That's not part of science. It's part of a religion that somebody believes in. Fourthly, we have organic evolution. That's the origin of life. No one has a clue how life can get started from non-living material, and it certainly has not been proven how it happened in the past. This also is not part of science. This is part of a religion and should not be taught at taxpayer expense in schools. Fifthly, we have macroevolution. That's where an animal changes from one kind of animal into another. No one has ever seen a dog produce a non-dog. All we see is dogs produce dogs. Now, you may get a big dog or a little dog, but you will always get a dog when you crossbreed dogs, okay? And probably the dog, the wolf, and the coyote had a common ancestor. I wouldn't argue about that. But a 5-year-old kid knows they're the same kind of animal. Here we have a dog, a wolf, a coyote, and a banana. And I ask kids all the time, which one is not like the others? And every 5-year-old gets it right. It's the banana, okay? The Bible says they will bring forth after their kind. So my position is very clearly, variations within the original created kinds are all that we have ever seen and all that can be called science. Science deals with things we can observe and study and test and demonstrate. The first 5 stages that I shared with you are not science. They are a religion, plain and simple. Only number 6 is really scientific. Now, if you observe variations within the created kind, and you say, okay, I think this variation might lead to bigger changes, okay, you're welcome to believe that, but that's where you just stepped out of science and went into your religion. You just went into the metaphysical. You think it might have happened long ago and far away. That's not science. Okay, that's a religion. My position is, evolution theory is not only stupid and an insult to our intelligence, it is dangerous. We are teaching the kids they're an animal, and then we wonder why they act like animals. This textbook says 30 million years ago, these creatures evolved. The earliest fossil apes that can be ancestral to both humans and modern apes. We teach the kids they're nothing but an ape, or an ape derived from the same ancestor as an ape, and then we wonder why they act like animals. You don't need to be a genius to figure this out, folks. What you believe determines how you behave. This textbook says you are an animal and share a common heritage with earthworms. Now, I don't care if somebody wants to believe that, but that's not science. And I resent paying for that to go into the textbook, because that's not science. That's his religion. He believes we have a common ancestor with earthworms. He doesn't know that, okay? And textbooks are jam-packed full of stuff like this, propaganda to get the kids to believe this silly theory. We teach them they're an animal, and they're acting like animals, okay? Go visit the schools, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I taught for 15 years. Kids are being taught there's no such thing as a moral standard. I challenge people all over the world. I ask them the question, if evolution is true, how do we determine right from wrong? If evolution is true, what is sin? I'm telling you, there is no absolute standard to determine right from wrong if evolution is true. You just can't tell. My position is anyone who teaches this false religion and destroys the faith of students is in serious trouble when they face God, because they're destroying their faith. Jesus said very clearly, whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck and he were drowned in the depth of the sea. Now, if you want to teach science, then teach science. But if you're going to mix your religion in with it and try to make the kids believe that they came from an ape-like ancestor, you better understand you're destroying somebody's faith, and you're going to face God with this. You're going to be in serious trouble. I'm just here to warn you. I'm the messenger boy. My position is every one of us has broken God's commandments. God created this world, and he owns it, and everyone in this room, especially me, has broken God's laws. And we are in serious trouble. Nobody can get to heaven on their own merits. The Bible says, thou art not a God that hath pleasure in wickedness, neither shall evil dwell with thee. If you have any sin in your life, you cannot go to heaven unless you have been forgiven. And 33 years ago yesterday, I asked the Lord to save me. And I'm going to heaven. It's not at all because I'm good. It's because I have been forgiven. Anyone who repents and asks for God's forgiveness shall be saved. And that's what I recommend everybody do. My position is very simple. Many people believe in evolution because they do not want to accept responsibility for answering to a creator. There's no scientific reason to accept this theory, but some people really like that theory because that's a logical way to get freedom from God. We're warned about this in Romans chapter 1, about people who would accept this theory. It says, even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient. You ought to read the whole chapter about how the people descend into depravity because they're just looking for some way to get rid of God. They're going to be backbiters, haters of God, who, knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. The Bible says, for this cause God shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie. Evolution, at least the first 5 stages I shared with you, are indeed a lie, in my opinion. There is no evidence to support evolution except things that are proven to be lies. This textbook just clearly shows the kids that the mammals, the birds, the crocodiles all have a common ancestor. Well, you are welcome to believe that, but don't call that science. That's a religion that some people believe in, but there's no scientific evidence that any animal has ever produced a different kind of animal. None, okay? This one says the coccyx, that's your tailbone, is a small bone at the end of the human vertebral column. It has no present function. That is simply a lie. You're a medical doctor. You know there are 9 muscles that attach to the tailbone, without which you cannot perform some very valuable functions.